The Boys is in a bit of some duty, and I would say some duty of its own making. I've been of the opinion that The Boys has had some diminishing returns over its run. That being said, though, I never felt like I was bored, nor did I feel that there was something that was just plain bad. But I think we've reached the tipping point here. I don't want to sit here and act like season 4 is the worst thing ever made and it's awful. Because it's not. I think it's got a lot of good stuff in it. My problem is, it's focusing on a lot of stinky right now. Before we get into the bad, let me just go over the good. I think the main plot with Butcher, Homelander, and Ryan is pretty swell. I think it does a good job at showing how Butcher and Homelander are two sides of the same coin here. On one hand, you have Butcher, who really doesn't give a hoot about himself, but he wants to take care of Ryan so that he did something, so that he kept his promise to his wife. Homelander, he does love Ryan, but he also loves himself a lot. He can't stand the idea of Ryan taking his spotlight, but what they both share in common is their desire to have a legacy. And they both desire Ryan to be that legacy. For different reasons, of course, but the point is, what they do with Ryan is their legacy. Then you have Firecracker, who I think has one of the most interesting news stories of the season. Despite Firecracker obviously being a grifter and a hypocrite, I can't help but feel some sympathy for her, because we get some knowledge on Starlight's past. Let's just say she's not the goody two-shoes she pretends to be. Firecracker also has an attitude that's pretty much what I want Homelander to be. When the boys threaten her with blackmail, she just doesn't give a hoot. And she's able to spin it to make herself still look good in front of the people that like her. But this couldn't be done without the most important character of season 4, Sister Sage. Another new character that I think is great. I love that Homelander has someone who's actually intelligent, at least seemingly on his side, for once in the show. Makes him that much more dangerous. Homelander's not the brightest clam in the ocean. He's got the bronze, but not the brains. Now, he seems like he's got both. And I say seems because with Sage being the smartest person in the world, we don't really know what her plan is. But at the moment, it seems like she's helping Homelander. Besides that, though, I think we've got to the end of the good. My main problem with this first half of the season is that a lot of it feels like filler. I feel like I'm out here watching a season of The Walking Dead. It's not that bad, don't get me wrong, but like in The Walking Dead, where you'd get 90% filler and then a little sprinkling of the main plot, that's kind of what we're getting here. It got better in episode 4, though for the most part, we're not really doing anything and we're halfway through the season. And with it officially announced that next season is the last season, I'm stuck here wondering what we're doing, why we're wasting our time on this. And perhaps what are those time wasters, you may be asking? Well, yes, as you may have thought, I'm gonna rip the band-aid off here real quick and say the Frenchie plotline is not good at all. It perhaps may be the worst subplot of the show. And before the goobers go racing to the comments, no, it has nothing to do with Frenchie being gay. In fact, I'm fairly certain it was established in the beginning of the show that Frenchie is bisexual. I could truly give a rat's fart who the person was, whether it was a boy or girl. The point is, it's nothing. So far, we are halfway through the season, 4 episodes, and we've been introduced to a random character that for some reason we're supposed to care about having a relationship with Frenchie. He's not a superhero. He's not a new addition to the boys. He's not anybody important other than the fact that Frenchie killed his family. Wow. This is the big drama in the relationship. One of which, I might add, was only established at the beginning of season 4. Listen, if you wanted Frenchie to have a boyfriend, totally fine, right? But you do that at the beginning of the show. Alright? Or you introduce that character towards the beginning of the show, and then it can pay off in season 4. We don't get that. Just from a point of view of getting us to like a relationship or a storyline, it must be built up. I don't know why I even have to say this for the show since it's done it before. Hughie and Starlight, Butcher and Becca, Butcher and Ryan, Homelander and Ryan, all of the boys together, Kimiko and Frenchie, Butcher and Hughie. The difference between these relationships and the one with Frenchie and his boyfriend is that they just expect you to care about it off rip. Completely new character. Nobody knows anything about him. Now he's making kissy faces with Frenchie in the bathroom. And the show's just like, care. Bro, I don't know anything about this relationship. I don't know anything about this character. Just because you said Frenchie did some awful thing to him, which I already knew Frenchie did awful things before, and you could argue he still does, doesn't all of a sudden make me care about it. And to be honest, even if it was good, I would still say it would be misplaced. There will now be 12 more episodes of The Boys, and instead of focusing on the important stuff, like keeping the Supes out of the White House, killing Victoria Newman and Homelander, making sure that Ryan is taken away from Homelander, and just a general conclusion to the boys and their storylines, we are now just setting up this random relationship that comes out of nowhere. Again, if you wanted to put this in an earlier season and then build on it from there, fair enough, but you can't do it so late. And I think the main problem is the show just doesn't know what to do with Frenchie. In fact, season 3's storyline with Frenchie was also terrible. Frenchie's Russian power mommy, that shit's lame. It added nothing to the story, and frankly, it added nothing to Frenchie either. Hopefully in the final season, Frenchie will have an actual role in the show and the story. As it seems though, from this season and last season, not too sure about that. Then we have Kimiko's plot this season, and it's truly another stinker. You may have thought, well, we pretty much know most of Kimiko's past. We had the plotline with her brother, her getting revenge on the traffickers that took her, and even learning what it's like to be human again and being able to die and get hurt in season 3. Maybe she's ready to be in the main spotlight with the rest of the boys. Nope. We are going to go on some random side quest where Kimiko again goes after the people that trafficked her. What does this have to do with the main plot, you may be asking? The answer is nothing, you silly Manili. The main problem with this, it's just boring. Kimiko as a character is fine. We've got enough development from her. We don't need to be, again, taken away from the main plot for some random side quest that adds nothing to the story. Last, we have the only subplot that is bad right now, but has a possibility to be at least decent or good. This is the subplot with Hughie, his dad, and his mom. First off, to make this better, get rid of Hughie's mom. Have Starlight be there if you want, or just have him be there by himself. Or maybe Butcher comes in. Hughie's mom was barely ever mentioned. She served no importance to the story through the past 3 seasons, and really not even this season either. Her character is there to take up space and do nothing. We've got much more pressing matters, and we're sitting here having Hughie bicker with his mom about how she left him. I don't care. I just do not care. And honestly, I don't care about his dad either. He was there at the beginning of the show, and I think he popped up once or twice since then. Again, doesn't matter. You could have put him in every episode like the snail from Adventure Time. Wouldn't have mattered. Made no difference. But what jungle is the good in this poopy plotline? At the end of episode 4, we do get something a little interesting. Hughie acquires some compound V and gives it to his dad, hoping it will heal him. Despite this being intertwined with Kimiko's plotline, it actually does have one good scene where Butcher and Hughie talk about using compound V on his dad. Eventually, somehow, it does get used on his dad, and due to a scene in the trailer, we see it does affect him. So that's the only thing that's actually got maybe some potential, but really quite stinky besides that. There are some other nitpicks I have, like the boys breaking up from Butcher again for like the 5th time, and then just bringing him immediately back, or how the show is so blue it's crazy. I don't know if I'm tweaking or not, but was this show always so blue?
Why are you blue?
Was the color correction that bad? Or how in the 4th episode, they might have had an actual fun side adventure with Butcher and MM, but chose to skip over it. And how you got some screenwriter 101 type dialogue in this shit.
You need to go back to the start. You need to go home.
But I think the main stuff that's making this season bad are those pesky subplots. It feels like the show has no intention of ending anytime soon. Maybe it's because the show's creator, Eric Kripke, originally wanted 4 seasons, and then he extended it, and then he extended it again, and then brought it back to 5 seasons. Which is worrying because I don't want a Game of Thrones season 7 and 8 finale from this. I think for the most part, this show deserves a good conclusion, not one that's just slapped on at the end because you wasted your time with the rest of the story. I can only hope that these last 4 episodes pick things up a bit, because if they don't, I'm not too sure season 5 is going to work out. But what do you guys think? Do you like season 4 of The Boys? Do you think these subplots actually slap and they are deepening the story? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.